joining me here in the attic. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite beverage, and we'll get to crafting and memory keeping. Today we're going to work on our cover for the collaboration that I'm doing as a guest collaborator for I Totally Love It for her Junk Journal Madness collaboration. If you're not familiar with this collaboration, you can go back and check my introductory video to this in the playlist, and I'll also link I Totally Love It's channel where she explains this well. She normally has a guest collaborator that will pick several themes, and then she will spin a wheel to decide which theme that we're doing that month, and then she'll roll dice and use another page that she's got of items to include, and when she rolls the dice, it'll tell us how many items we have to include. This month it was 8. And then she'll roll again on items to make, and again she rolled an 8, so we'll be working on that later on this month. But for today we're going to work on the cover. The theme for this month is Steampunk Halloween, and I do have an introductory video in the playlist where I flipped through these pages for these kits that I'm going to be using, if you would like to go back and check those. I've done a little bit of prep work to start working on the cover. I gutted this book and took out all the pages using an X-Acto knife, trying to keep the spine intact. I'm going to be reinforcing this later on, but for right now I just want to work on decorating this cover. I have sanded the spine down. It did have the title printed on the spine, and I wanted to get rid of that, so I sanded that down, and I have made some die cuts of gears that I'm going to be using for the cover. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting here. I've never done this before. I want to do some stenciling directly on the cover, and then I'm going to glue some die cuts that I cut out to make the cover a little more 3D. So I'm going to start out using Rub and Buff Antique Gold on this stencil. I'm going to use a blending brush, and I think I want to take some washi and tape this down a little bit so it doesn't shift on me. Go. Hopefully that'll keep that in place. I just want to do a base to start out the steampunk look. Take the microfiber towel and just kind of buff it a little bit and see if I can get a little blend, the extra rub and buff off the stencil too. You want to kind of be careful with that because you'll end up damaging your stencil if you do too much. Alright. Since I did tack that down, I should be able to lift it up, see what it looks like. Okay, that gave me a good base, because I don't want anything too dark right at this point, because again, I am going to add some die cuts to add some dimension. So I think I'm going to do the same thing on the back half. Got these stencils off Amazon. They were a little bigger than what I thought they would be, but I'm gonna make do with them. Probably should have gone ahead and invested in the Tim Holtz ones that I knew were the right size. All right. Get a little more rub and buff, and we'll do this part. Okay, I like that. And now what I want to do is take these smaller ones that I did die cut out, and I'm going to randomly glue these around in different spots to add some dimension. And so I'm going to add some music here as I just decide where I want these and get them glued down. Okay, now that I've got the die cuts glued down, I'm going to go back and use the Distress Crayon and Crooked Broomstick to go over those 3D embellishments from the die cuts to add a little bit of dimension. How the cover's turning out. I want to distress the spine a little bit. I'm going to use some scorched timber to try to distress the spine and see if I'm going to need to go over where I sanded the title off, if I'm going to need to go over that with something like some paste or something to get rid of that. I think I am going to go over that with some paste. I had not planned on doing that, so I'm going to pause the video, grab my paste, and I'll be right back. Alright, I've grabbed a stencil. It's the Tim Holtz stencil. I think it's 161. I'm going to go down the spine with this circular one and then try to move it. Might do it this way and try to move it up. Trying to think so I don't end up getting the stencil in the paste. I may have to let part of it dry before I go on to the next step, but we'll see how it is. I'm going to try to tint the paste. I'm going to use this grip paste, and I'm going to try tinting it with some of the scorched timber. To tint it, I'm just going to kind of mix it. And I'm not necessarily wanting it to be completely changed in color. Just something a little darker, a little more grunge than just the gray. Edges off here just a little bit with my tool. Get a little bit of this extra paste up. I don't care that it's in that seam. It'll just add to the grunge a little bit. And then I think when this dries, I'll come back and add a little bit of the Distress Crayon over it to make it blend a little bit more with the overall cover. But I'm pleased with how this is turning out so far. Next week, I'll work on the inside of the cover and start putting my signature in. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I put up any new content. And let me know anything you might want to see in this journal, because I'm going to be following along with I Totally Love It's Google Drive and making some items and including items. So if you want to go over and grab that download and take a look at the things that are on the list, leave me a comment and let me know some of the things you might want to see in here. And until I see you again here in the attic, y'all take care.